Exobiology, Expedition 5 Redux, No Man's Sky.
Hello, No Man's Sky. It's your friend the Traveler. Join me in today's special episode as we charge through the re-release of Expedition 5, Exobiology Redux. Now, the first part of our journey is pretty straightforward. Usually your ship marker isn't available from the start, but for whatever reason my ship icon appeared. Not sure if this is No Man's Sky trying to make this expedition a little more easy, but so far that is exactly what I felt like throughout this entire run. Now, if for some reason your ship icon does not appear to you when you first load in, don't move your character around. Just start running in the direction your avatar is pointed in to easily find your ship. Once you do, you will complete your first task, which is called Metal Mount, Reach Your Starship. Now, let it be known that this guide will not showcase every step to get to the end. Some steps will happen naturally as you progress. For example, visit a verdant planet, hatch your companion or ride your companion, etc., etc. These things you will know how to do without a guide, I am 100% positive. But for the most part, I will show my entire journey step by step. Alright, now that you've reached your ship, there isn't much to do but gather sodium, oxygen, carbon, dihydrogen, and ferrite dust. Once you gather the essentials for the most part, if you want this to be in and out, just do what I did. Duplicate the materials using some portable refiners. The recipe is already given to you, making this one of the quickest and easiest expeditions yet. Alright, now that you've gotten the basics and duplicated them, your journey will be so much more easy. Not having to worry about dying is fundamental if you want to get this over with. Why spend countless hours farming for materials when you can literally get the basics in under 20 minutes? And keep in mind, those materials you dupe will last you right until the end. Alright, after you've photographed your companion and ridden him around a little bit, you'll approach your final task on this planet, which is to get the heck off the planet, which you can't do unless you've gathered your basic materials. So now that we have, let's bounce to complete the next milestone named Liftoff. This next task you'll get automatically without much effort at all. Once you leave the first star system you're in and enter the next system on your journey, the milestone named Journey to Brighter Stars, Went to Light Speed will pop. Now, I noticed a verdant planet in this system, so I decided to knock that one off my list and get my Crowded Universe milestone finished, which is to visit a planet teeming with fauna. Most tropical paradise or verdant planets will work. Even a rainy planet will do if you're stuck. Okay, by now you've received some awards for completing some milestones. Use a few of those to duplicate yourself some storage augments, multi-tool expansion augments, and starship storage expansion slots. It will make your life so much more easy to have some extra space to play around with. Now that you've set yourself up for success, head on over to a verdant or paradise planet to hatch your companion's egg. I'm using the companion Hello Games gave me to start with at the beginning, which won't hatch an egg unless you put him in his native environment, which for my guy was a verdant planet. I went ahead and located a paradise world and just induced the egg to complete the milestone named The Next Generation, Delivered a New Life. Also, keep this egg, as we'll need it for the upcoming milestone. Okay, that about takes care of Phase 1. We can move on ahead now and make it to our rendezvous point to complete Phase 1. So without further ado, let's punch it. Alright, awesome. Now that we've completed that phase, let's head on over to the first rendezvous of Phase 2. By now, you've probably already fully gained your companion's trust. If you have not, give your little guy lots of love and treats to prompt that milestone. It's very easy and there's no tutorial needed for that one. Once you've arrived at your first rendezvous for Phase 2, you can knock off another milestone named Coleoporology, which is adopt a beetle companion. If you look around at your first phase rendezvous point, you will see a ton of beetles flying around that another player already discovered and named Fonzie. So go get yourself a Fonzie and knock this easy milestone out of the park. Alright, now that we have that out of the way, remember that egg I told you to keep? Well, let's go summon the anomaly and resequence this to cross off yet another milestone from our list. Now, it doesn't really matter which materials you put into the egg sequencer, as any will do. We're just trying to complete this milestone, not develop some mutant clone. So once that's done, you'll be prompted with another completed milestone named Mad Science. Resequence the genetic code. Alright, next on our list is the Swarmed milestone. It's super easy. Just head on over to any planet and craft some creature pellets if you haven't already. Feed as many animals as you can. You'll need exactly 8 animals around your avatar for this milestone to pop, named Swarmed. Fed a large group of creatures. Yet another easy one to knock off your belt. Alright, let's get out of here and finish the next task, which is called Ornithology, Discovered Airborne Creatures. Now, it is worth mentioning that I discovered 4 flying beasts already, but never got the milestone. I figured out that since someone else had already discovered the creatures, that it wouldn't count towards my milestone completion, as I didn't personally discover them. So once I hopped to an unmapped system and begun scanning aerial beasts, the milestone finally appeared, and yet another milestone was crossed off our list. This next one was actually pretty funny. I misread the milestone and thought I had to round up 10 creatures and take a photo of all of them at the same time, which wasn't the case at all. You just need to take a total of 10 screenshots total of ground creatures to pop this milestone, Terrestrial Snaps. Take a photo of 10 ground creatures. Now that I rounded up 10 creatures, which I didn't need to do, I just took a total of 10 screenshots and boom, another milestone done and done. Alright guys, now that we've completed Phase 2, let's get on out of here and head on over to Phase 3's first rendezvous point. now that we've arrived, we'll be approaching another milestone that took me a bit of time to get completed, and I've got to say was the most annoying milestone to complete yet. This next one is called Best Laid Plans, and to complete this milestone you'll need 5 sets of 3 different eggs: large eggs, tall eggs, and creature eggs. After a lot of searching, I finally found all 15, but in order to find these eggs, you'll need specific creatures. Now the first creature can be found on the planet you just arrived at. Just look around for a Diplo. I was lucky enough to see it spawn after my Milestone 3 Rendezvous 1 prompt. It is worth noting that you don't have to find another creature to get more eggs. Just wait 45 seconds and the creature will be able to produce more eggs for you. So, the Diplo is on the planet for Phase 3 Rendezvous 1. Okay, for the next set of eggs, called creature eggs, I found here on this hot planet. I got pretty lucky and saw this giant dinosaur wobbling around, and sure enough, it had what I needed. The final set of eggs, called tall eggs, I found on a verdant planet with striders, as these fauna will give you the tall eggs. If you're not sure what a strider is, take a look at the first companion Hello Games gave you to start out with. Okay, travelers, now that sticky milestone is finally off of our hands, you'll receive the milestone completion prompt and can move on to the next milestone, which is visit different types of planets. They'll give you a list, and I'm certain you can figure this one out on your own as it's pretty self-explanatory. The only hiccups I could see forthcoming would be discovered an unusual planet or discovered a volcanic planet. Now, unusual planets can be pillared planets, planets of light, metal planets, or any type of exotic planet will do. Be sure to scan the fauna once you've arrived at your unusual planet to knock off 2 birds with 1 stone, as the milestone Xenobiology, which was to discover an exotic creature, will pop as well. This would be one of those examples of milestones you can organically complete throughout this expedition without really having to think too hard about it. Okay, now that that's done, we can head on over to another planet that gave me a bit of trouble removing from the list. I needed to find a volcanic planet, but for some reason hot planets didn't work. I finally found this ash-shrouded planet and it seemed to do the trick, as my search didn't reveal any volcanic planets. So when I landed on this planet and noticed the volcanic planet was removed from my list, I was, needless to say, very, very happy. Finally, moving on to the last planet on the list. Any airless or lifeless planet will work for this one. Once you've arrived at your final destination, wherever that might be, you'll be greeted with another completed milestone prompt, called Sightseer, for exploring 5 different types of worlds. Another milestone you can knock off early on if you're lucky. Okay, who wants to bake a cake? Let's get it. First off, scan for fauna that will give you milk and go get some milk. Once you have your milk, you'll need to create a nutrient processor, so go ahead and do that after you've gathered some milk. Now that we've gathered what's needed, let's do some baking. Something I never thought I'd find myself saying on a gaming tutorial. If you don't know how to bake this cake, simply follow the instructions given to you in your log menu. Just click on the milestone to pin it. Okay, step 1. Put the milk into the nutrient processor to create cream. Once you have created the cream, pop that cream back into the nutrient processor to create churned butter. Once the butter is churned, add it back into the refiner and add the processed sugar, which was given to you as a reward for completing a past milestone, to create sweetened butter. Once you have that sweetened butter, add that into the nutrient processor with your choice of eggs and processed flour, which was also awarded to you in the previous milestones to create the cake batter. Once your cake batter is made, finally add some synthetic honey to complete your cake and receive yet another milestone named Sweet Tooth. Baked a cake. Okay guys, now that you've gone and completed your Sweet Tooth milestone, let's go on ahead and take that cake to the anomaly where we can scratch off yet another milestone from the list. For this milestone, you simply have to take your cake to Kronos and give it to him to receive that discerning palate milestone, which is to earn the respect of Kronos, ending Phase 3. Alright, now that that's out of the way, let's head on over to the first rendezvous point of Phase 4. Once you've arrived, we can begin our next task, which is to look through dung samples from fauna on any planet of your choosing. So let's head on over to a random planet and start feeding some animals creature pellets. Once we herd up a good flock, we can begin to collect 20 dung samples to knock this milestone named Digestive Analysis off the list, which is searched for 20 dung samples. Okay guys, next up is a very easy one. Again, all you'll have to do is find yourself on a random planet. Try to land somewhere in the ocean because all this milestone expects us to do is scan 4 different species of marine life. So let's get to it, and just like that, the milestone named Marine Biology is another notch off of our belt. Now this next milestone was a bit tricky at first to find. What I did was I farmed some crystal sulfide and living pearl to create a submarine Nautilus exocraft, and though I couldn't use it underwater due to no fuel, I could still install a radar scanner, hop in the vessel, and search for underwater structures, which is exactly what you'll need to do to find this next task of escaping an abyssal horror. Once you get close enough to one of these bad boys, just smash your square button or whatever button your PC or console prompts you with to escape the horror and receive the What Lurks Below milestone. Survived an encounter with an abyssal horror. Next up is another easy one. Throughout this expedition's playthrough, we are granted rewards. It's very important for this milestone that you use your scanner mod reward. I purchased a few other scanner mods to give my scanner max range and max reward bonus. I placed my S mods in my scanner's supercharged slots, and once I did, all you have to do is simply scan a creature you haven't scanned before and you'll receive the milestone valuable data, which was to discover a creature worth 200,000 units. It is worth mentioning that I duped a couple 100,000 nanites just in case. Not saying you'll need to do that, but I upgraded my Multitool to S class, and once this milestone came around I got it quite easily, as well as adopting 3 pets, which was another milestone that you need nanites to complete. Not as many as I have, but fear not, you'll be awarded plenty of nanites as you progress through, and I just love having more than what I need. Alright guys, now that we've smashed Phase 4, let's head on over to the first rendezvous point of Phase 5. Okay, once you have arrived and received your milestone award, hop on your beetle pet, or if you're like me and have discovered another flying pet you just had to have, hop on that and ride it around until your little meter reads 2,000. This is another one of those milestones you might already have gotten earlier on if you've been doing a lot of flying on your pet. For me, I didn't, so I spent around 10 minutes riding around in circles to get this next milestone named Wingspan. And all you have to do is fly on your companion 2000U. Alright guys, now that you got that out of the way, the next milestone will grind a bit of your time, but not too much. It's pretty straightforward. Head on over to any space station and find the mission agents. Only take on missions where you can gain reputation with the Explorers Guild. So please look before you accept the missions, as some of these missions will award you with Korvax or Merchant standing. And for this particular milestone, you need 5 out of 5 standing with the Explorers Guild. So go ahead and do 5 missions for the Explorers to prompt this milestone called Famous Explorer, which was for completing 5 missions for the Explorers Guild. Again, this next one is very straight up. Go to pretty much any planet. I was lucky enough to find a bone planet, but if you can't, just land on a planet, scan with your multi-tool, and switch from your analysis visor to your location scanner. It'll point you in the direction of bones. So the objective of this scenario is to collect and unearth 10 sets of bones to complete this milestone named Ancestors, for collecting 10 fossils. Alright, after you complete this milestone, you'll be given a reward called the Deep Space Lure, which brings us to our final milestone, which couldn't be easier. All you have to do is get into your ship, leave the planet, head into space, activate your pulse drive, press the Deep Space Lure, and communicate with the life form, whatever it may be. Once you make contact and open up communications, you will receive your prompt for the last and final milestone named Recognizable Life, commuted with a gas sentience. And this will wrap up Phase 5. Alright guys, you did it. All you have to do now is select your final reward, save your game, then head on over to your main save and collect those awesome awards you've earned yourself at the Quicksilver vendor located inside the anomaly. Well, I had a lot of fun with this expedition and I'm so glad you could join me. There was a few hiccups along the road, but all in all, I completed it in just under 4 hours. And with this simple guide, you can too. I hope this video helps someone out there, and if that person is you, please let me know in the comments down below. This was such a fun episode to do. I look forward to the next expedition coming out in the next few weeks, and I'll for sure be sharing my experiences with you, my fellow travelers. Please have yourself a great day, and as always, stay positive and know that you matter. This is your friend the Traveler, signing out.
Smash that like button and tickle the little bell icon.